In this chapter, we'll add gestures to our app. Specifically, when the user gazes at one of the spheres in the scene and does the air tap gesture, we'll make that sphere fall by adding physics to it in Unity. Go ahead and minimize Visual Studio. Close the Build Settings dialog. So first, we're going to add a script that manages the gaze and gestures for the user. This is going to ensure that we can use the gaze to target a specific hologram and route gestures right to that hologram. Go ahead and click the Scripts folder. Right-click, say Create, and choose C# Script. Name this script Gaze Gesture Manager. Drag the Gaze Gesture Manager onto the Origami collection. Again, click the Origami collection and make sure the Gaze Gesture Manager script appears on the right. Now, double-click on the Gaze Gesture Manager to open it in Visual Studio. Go ahead and replace the contents of this script with the contents from this chapter. What this script will do is track each frame where the user is looking and store that hologram. In this case, we care not about the point on the hologram, but the actual hologram game object itself, so we can target our gestures. In the start method, we're initializing a gesture recognizer. This is how we can handle gestures and route their events. We're handling specifically here the tapped event. When a user taps, we want to send a message to the object that was focused. Here in the update method, we're going to use a similar raycast that we saw before, except this time we're capturing the game object that was collided with. We're going to consider that object to be the focused object for use when we're targeting the gestures. Make sure you've saved. And now we'll create a second script, sphere commands. This is the script that will receive that message when the user taps and command the sphere to actually fall. In the scripts folder, right-click, create a new C# script, and type sphere commands. Expand the Origami collection so you can see sphere 1 and sphere 2, and drag this script onto each sphere. You can click sphere 1 and click sphere 2 and verify that you see the sphere command script at the bottom. Double-click on sphere commands. Once again, select all the code and replace it with the code from this segment. In Unity, objects that have physics will have a component called rigid body. We're going to add one of these rigid body components to our sphere when it receives that select message. You can see here the onSelect method that will be called by Gaze Gesture Manager. When we get that method called, we're going to check whether the rigid body component is attached to the object. If there isn't one yet, we're going to go ahead and add a rigid body component and set it up for improved physics. Make sure you've saved, and then minimize Visual Studio. Now we're ready to deploy the project. Go to the File menu, Build Settings, and build and deploy your project as usual.
Now when the gaze cursor is on the sphere, you can simulate a gesture to make the sphere drop. Press the space bar or press the A button in an Xbox controller.
In this chapter, we've seen how to use hand gestures to add action to our gaze. We use gaze to naturally target, and then we use that tap gesture to command the object to take action. In the next chapter, we're going to see one more way that you can tell an object to take an action, and that's voice.